Hi everybody, my name's Cameron Roland and I decided to build a project for this grade instead of writing really long papers because I hate writing papers. So once I decided to build something, I had to think about what I wanted to build, and that actually took me a lot of time until I sat down and started thinking about my experience with theater. Now, I've never acted or anything, but I was a stagehand at one time. The school I went to before this, my English teacher actually worked for the theater department, and she offered 5 extra credit points to all our classes if one, you decided to go be part of the theater department and act, which I had no interest in doing because I don't like getting in front of people, or if you would be a stagehand, and that was an easy option for me. But we did a play of the West Side Story, and what I was responsible for were the car props that we used in the play, and me and some of the other guys in my class were responsible for running them out on stage and taking them off in between the scenes, and it was just a mess. Everybody was running into each other, not knowing which way to go, all the way up until like right before showtime. We did a few rehearsals and we were just running into each other, and it was a mess. So when I was reading, I read about the Chariot and Pole system. That really piqued my interest because it could have saved me so much trouble and time if we had had that at my last school. So I decided to go with that. So here's my research. Many innovations led to the theater that we see today. These include the use of flat and slanted wings, the use of perspective to create the illusion of depth, and the use of machinery to change scenery. One of the most revolutionary of these machines was the Chariot and Pole system. Born in 1608, Giacomo Torelli was first documented for the opening of the Teatro Novissimo in 1641. He worked with Francesco Sacrati on La Finta Pazza, followed by Bella Raffonte and Venere Golosa. It was during this time that he perfected a system he had designed to change scenery. This system was called the Chariot and Pole system. This system involved using a series of chariots that are attached to a pole system where the scenery is mounted. Slots would be cut in the floor of the stage that the poles would rise through, while the chariots would be attached by ropes and pulleys that would allow them to be moved beneath the stage by a single stagehand who could turn a crank. This eliminated the need for multiple stagehands to run out to set up and take down props. The efficiency of this made it gain popularity over other methods of prop changing. One of these methods was the periac toy. Use of this method is well documented all the way back to the 5th century, but is believed to have been used for a long time before. Triangular prisms would have sections of a scene painted on them, and these prisms would be mounted on poles that could rotate to reveal other scenes. I really enjoyed getting to build this because I haven't used popsicle sticks and hot glue since 1st or 2nd grade. So that was fun for me. But the first thing I built was the track system. And it's important when you're building these to keep in mind that the track has to be long enough for not only the prop to be seen on stage, but also be long enough that it can be hidden in the wings when you're changing your scenes. The next thing I built was this fancy little chariot, which doesn't look much like a chariot, but and attached to it is the crank system, which I will show you in just a second. After all that hard work, I needed an easy task, so I built the pole system. I know they just like popsicle sticks, but they're poles. All right, and these would be attached to the chariot, and on top of that would be your fancy scenery, and they would just mount these on top of it, and they would slide back and forth through these slots. And like a jack of all trades, I also make curtains, so there's that. The way it would work is your scene would be off stage, and then with the turn of the crank system, you'd be able to, let me get my hands out of the way, you'd be able to wheel out your scene, and then after it was done or you need to change scenes, you could wheel this back, and a secondary scene would be, another crank would be turned, and a second scene would come out and change the scenery. So the way this would work during a play is you'd have your scene, the actors come out and act, and then when you wanted to change scenes, one gear would pull it off stage, and then you would turn another crank, and you could, just like that, go from night to day. And now you guys get a backstage pass. So you saw how it worked, what the audience would see, and this is the mechanics behind it. You would turn the crank right here on the side, and that would pull the rope that was attached to your chariot underneath, and you could just turn it the other way, and it would pull it back across to the center and then to the other side of the stage. Once this method gained popularity, people used it in multiple ways and improved upon it. On top of just moving scenery at the bottom of the stage, they actually mount rail systems on top of the stage to be able to move other items across the top. They would move scenery for clouds, the sun, moon, stars, and I know today we don't think it's that impressive, but back in the day, people went crazy for stuff like that. So that was my project on the Chariot and Pole system. I had a lot of fun building this project, and I really hope you guys enjoyed watching.